Hello everybody, this is Todd from Toad Painting. Today we're going to be painting Grock from the board game Hate. So he's this weird kind of like Quaid character. He's massive, he's like on a 50mm base. His friend, twin brothers merged with him, I guess. The little one's like kind of very human, but the bigger one is very much like ogre. It's not very humanoid at all. Proportions are all wrong for like a human face. So he's got a whole bunch of little pimples and stuff just all over him, stuff like that. He's got a hairy back. He's covered in chains and his own hair and little pieces of other things. Like there's a foot there. There's what, all these horns. Little things like that. The horns most of the time are like piercing through his flesh, so... Oh hey! Hey, Giggling Geek! He's definitely a weird monstrosity. So today we're going to be basically doing a whole bunch of flesh. I'll be painting this guy to centerpiece quality, so there's going to be a lot of time just working the flesh today. But before I do that, I'm going to work on the base. Just get that done before I can... I just find that's the easiest process to do, is just base first. Alright, so we're going to do some score in red. So how you doing on this Friday, Geekette? Oops. You just hanging out? You painting your own miniatures? I generally don't do the flesh, depending on like the miniature. If it's like a whole fleshy monster like this, yeah, it's flesh first, but like most of the time I do the flesh last kind of things. It's like one of the things I don't want to screw up. I'll do everything around the flesh, then I'll do the flesh, because flesh is like... It's just hard to correct a mistake on flesh. I'm also kind of a stocky painter. Are you a neat and precise painter? So for this guy's flesh, I'm gonna try and do like a kind of like a high contrast kind of thing. So it's like he's in like a low light area, just like make it look pretty dramatic looking. So it's gonna have like very relatively bright in the center, and then as it goes out, it's gonna like so that goes down the arms and down his leg is gonna be like less and less. So I'm gonna just play around also the same with the light. So like light here's gonna be like yellowy, and then it's gonna go in more blue tones. So I'm gonna play around with that. I rarely have time to do my own stuff, so Alright, I always lack the I don't know, the drive to do my own stuff, because I paint. This is my full-time job, I paint. And so, the only time I do my own stuff is for competition, so it's rarely will I ever do my own stuff for, like, to play. So, I suggest maybe doing your own stuff. Because if you're a commission painter, the little things like that you kind of miss. Alright. I'm kind of a speed painter. I'm like kind of lazy perfectionist kind of speed painter. I like to get things done, but I also like things to look good. But sometimes I get sloppy. So, but then again, you also learn a lot of things when you're doing a lot of mistakes. So today's gonna be a lot of trial and error. I'm gonna play around and just try something new with this kind of flesh. So, okay, so I'm gonna just start working with the light flesh first. I got red on my fingers. I'm probably gonna transfer all the red paint on my model. I bought myself the hobby holders today that has like the ring around it, so you can put your fingers on top of it. But it's in the mail, so it's gonna take a little while. Probably come next week or the week after. So we're gonna start with some Rin flesh, and I kind of want to make them not pink. So I'm gonna probably add more yellow to them because I'm gonna go from like yellowy tones to more reddish, blue, purple tones as it goes down. So start with more of a. Let's try this color. I normally add this cream color, Mouth White, to it, but I'm gonna try this one. It's more pronounced yellow. Let's see what I get. I might ruin this. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little too yellow. Well, it could be good. It's not a bad skin tone, actually. Let's try that. Like color theory, or just how to like how the colors interact? Crack a cardiac kangaroo. I almost called it crack kangaroo. Sorry. Yeah, that's the thing about if you're doing commission painting, you get it just paint, and like every time you paint something, just post it, and then have like I have my painting page obviously on Facebook, and just have a catalog of all your stuff there. Just paint for fun, paint for commissions, and it's all about like consistency. Just showing you can do consistent style or consistent quality, basically. You can do quite a bit of different styles if you want, but as long as the quality is there. It took me quite a few years to get a consistent client base for my commissions. Okay, I haven't. Mini Reaper group. Was that Facebook group, or is it like a Reddit group? Oops, this is the wrong color. Apparently can't talk and paint today. So I haven't posted any specific Reaper groups. I just posted like the more generic ones. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't painted a Reaper Mini in a long time. So I'm kind of curious which miniature it was. I've done a lot of miniatures, so I can't remember exactly a year ago which miniatures I did for Reaper. Let me just post this up a bit more. There we go. He's a big boy. So I'm not going to do all of his skin this yellowy tone. I'm going to go for more darker colors as it goes down. So I'm just going to do just the top part. So I'm seeing how these colors are going to work, going from yellows to purples, or blues, sorry, which will kind of turn into a purple once you've had the red skin tones. So, it'll be interesting. Plus, he's got so many different like things going on him. He's got all these like chains into his flesh with all like sores and little pimples. Isn't he weird? Hopefully it turns out okay. I do generally experiment on commission work. It's kind of fun. I just wish this wasn't a board game piece. It's a great model, it's just the quality of the materials well, it's a board game piece, so it's not to the same standards as a miniature. For like GW, for example. So it's harder to clean and stuff like that. It's also pre-built. But the quality is quite good, like the detail is very nice. So, the base is almost dry. So once the base is fully dry, I'll just finish off the base before I do anything else. This honking monstrosity. He's pretty cool. It's like an ethno, I guess. His name is Grock. Grock? I want to say Grock from like the Emperor's New Groove or whatever. Are you a streamer as well, Geekette? Yeah, I was like that for a little while too. It's just like painting, really. Just getting into the habit of, whoops, knock them down. Just getting the habit of things, really. A lot of people have a hard time like pulling trigger on painting, so and I do it basically every day. So it's all about just getting used to it and comfortable with it, which is probably the biggest challenge for a lot of people. And starting from scratch, because nobody starts. I'm not a great streamer. I just started a couple months ago. But the same with painting. You never start from the top. You just gotta build your way up. Okay. But I actually do find streaming is kind of good practice, because if you want to like describe what you're doing, it kind of helps you in your own process too sometimes. Okay, so this guy's got a lot of detail on him. I mean, every streamer is different. You could do whatever suits you. Because if you want to just try and talk the entire time, you can probably do that, depending on how many people watch. It's also if you want to start teaching as well, it kind of helps with that. A lot of good money in teaching to paint, from what I'm told. All right, base is good enough. I'm gonna start working on that now. I also haven't really figured out difference or the proper balance between painting and streaming and reading the chat. Sometimes I forget about the chat. Okay, so this is Bloodstone and Sporn Red, and then just a little bit of Menoth White to brighten it up. Nice. Yeah, I do. I run a painting competition. It's coming up in a couple months, September 16th, I think. Attack X in Kamloops. And so I'm going to be teaching a couple classes there. And running the painting competition. So, if you guys are in, BC, Alberta, Seattle, Washington, I think that's the state. You should guys check it out. It's also a lot of playing for like War Machine, 40K, all those kind of games. Yeah. Let's see. terrible at basing, I gotta say. I never think my basing is good. Okay. So let's see. I might just try and cheat and use some mix medium to bring some more saturation to this, because I find that actually really, it looks nice when you just do some mixing medium and glob it on. So right now it's just creating this weird grayish kind of unsaturated base, which I don't want. Okay, let's try just pure mouth white and then go back over the mixing medium. Yeah, I'm still in Vancouver currently. I haven't played in a long time, but it was mostly like War Machine. I went to Lock and Load, which is the biggest, or the convention is held by Private Press, which owns War Machine. I didn't actually play any games there. I did play a demo game of Monster Apocalypse, which was quite fun, but I was just there for the painting competition. And I did do quite well. I got best overall and best in category for... I won best overall for my unit, and then I got best diorama slash massive for my Ashless Ashlyn. But I haven't played in a while. I bought some Infernals. I really want to play those guys. Because the Infernals are, well, I like insectile alien demon things, so. But I just haven't got around to playing them. So I'm just going to use the mixing medium and just thin it out. And just add some more saturation back into my base. Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's for that, it's basically like either do I want to like focus on painting, which is my main source of income and will actually get me, you know, ahead in life, or painting, which is, well, more of an ego thing, really. So do I want to win in painting, or do I want to win in playing? So I'm currently focusing on painting as my chosen career. Alright. Get all this paint off my head. My hand's a little messy right now. Okay. So let's start adding some. I'm gonna dry brush it a bit, just to get some of that texture in there. So I'm gonna go back with that mixture of, what is this, moldy ochre? Moldy ochre, Rin flesh, and white, moral white. And it's gonna do a little bit of dry brush, just so I can get some of that detail, and then start shading it from there. Which story are you talking about, Sloyam? Are you talking about Connections, or are you talking about other ones? That's more white. do you pronounce that? Is it Somnium? Thetrium. It sounds like a 40k name. Oh, okay. God. Yeah, Camp River days, man. I haven't played any. That's more than a decade ago. That was a long time ago. Somnium triatum. Ah, yes. That's the good old days when I was, what, 16? 15? That was 17 years ago. Man, I feel old now. So I'm actually going to go over this too with my paintbrush and just like define some of these details a bit more before I start doing some two-brush blending and shading it. Maybe I'll also do the darker flesh too, just so I can get it blended. Actually, no, I'll do it later. I'm playing around with this guy, I'm just experimenting, so I'll let it all come together. So, let's get some more of this paint out. I made way too little. Do you mind asking your name, Summitrium? Just your first name. Let's see. Oh! Hey, Cody. I remember you. Yes. Alright. So here I'm just going to be exaggerating some of these. I guess he's got like rather thick calloused skin, so I'm just trying to exaggerate that. Also, a little bit of this detail here got obliterated because of the, I don't know, cleaning off the mold lines and stuff like that, so I'm just going to add some of that back in. I'm kind of curious if I should make this guy's little friend here a different skin tone. I'll make it the same. I think when I'm doing it with high contrast skin tone, probably not going to need to do that. There'll be a lot of changing tones rather rapidly, so I'm going to just leave them the same kind of skin tone. So I'm just going to do the top parts of this because I want it to be the high contrast. So these parts actually, this part itself is going to be the highest part on this area. So this part will be the highlight. Same kind of area like this kind of thing. I'm having a hard time explaining this. Alright, I'll just maybe just show it. So he's kind of like part human, part rhino, this guy. He's got very etched skin, very thick and calloused. So I don't want to start highlighting too far down, because I don't want it that bright down there, especially towards the armpits. Yeah, this is from Hate. And I've actually played it before, but the miniatures are quite cool. They're very much like Chaos from like Warhammer. They're all like a lot of warped stuff. Like some look like very much like Chaos Warriors. A bit Khorne-like, you might say. This guy kind of reminds me of like a Chaos Giant, though not the same kind of scale. I'm just gonna raise up some areas, make them a little brighter. Just do a thin coat and just lighten it up. Ah, yes, yes. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, that, actually. Even though it's like done before I was born, it was quite well done. Love the creatures, love the suspense. No, unfortunately. I had a time-sensitive piece I had to get done, and so I was kind of hoping to get it done sooner, but it ended up being later, so I had no real time to do it. I've already done a bunch of competition pieces this year, so I kind of have to wind down and start doing my commission work. It took me about 2-3 weeks off of work to do my lock and load entries. And so I can't really... Plus there's no real, like... There's no monetary value in that. I mean, there's a lot of, like, prestige and stuff, but... Lock and Load at least has prestige as well as monetary value, which is quite nice. Yeah, that's a problem with, like, the Golden Demons replacing the Crystal Brush, because there was a $10,000 grand prize for a Crystal Brush, and that was basically a good catalyst for a lot of, like, great European painters and stuff like that to come over and try their hand at winning it. But now it's just prestige, and a lot of European painters already have that, because there's also lots of great painting competitions over there, but none of them are the 10 grand kind of stakes, right? So, alright, let's start doing some shading. I'm gonna completely ruin my palettes. Let's get a new one out. So, I don't want him... Okay. Don't look at the art they have for it. So, let's go for more reddish tones. Not too saturated, though. So I'm going to go for... Let's go for Cardic Flesh. it's a little too pink. So I'm going to try and desaturate it a bit. These are Private Press paints. They're P3, they're called. They're nice and non-toxic, because I'm a brush slicker, so I'm doing just my paint sometimes. So that's actually not a bad color for I'm looking for. Oh, okay. So I just found out the Ever-Chosen also... Ever-Chosen is also not judged by the store, it's judged by the people at the store. And so, there's no real points, because I haven't been into a Games Workshop store in a long time, so people are not going to vote for me if they don't really know who I am, kind of thing. And so, Ever-Chosen's not really worth it at that point. Because popularity contests are never worth winning. Let's add some Rin Flush just to lighten it up. It's a little too dark. Yeah, exactly. And I stopped playing Games Workshop games a long time ago, so, like... yeah. It's not worth the heartache, not worth the many hours of painting. Okay, so... it's pretty pink. Should be fine, though. So let's get my brushes. This is actually a huge model, so I'm going to use a... this is number 7 brush. I haven't used this thing except for, like, Colossals and, like, 100mm base miniatures. So let's do that for my standard brush. My blending brush. Okay, let's try it here. It's also quite hot. It's like 29 degrees right now. And so my paint's going to dry a little faster than I'm used to. So I might just have to. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, mine's like half an hour away, so it's not great, but it's not too bad. I just haven't really felt a reason to go and play Games Workshop games. I love the models and I paint them all the time, but playing them, well, not my cup of tea. So I might have gone a little too much strong contrast. Well, that's what I'm going for, actually, so let's see how it goes for this first layer, this first shade. I can always go back and lighten it up. Yeah, that's the problem with Games Workshop. Their models are just so great and so enticing to paint. And I love the miniature. I love Tyranids. Tyranids are like my all-time favorite looking armies out there. But I just haven't had the desire to play, because from what I remember playing, oh my god, like maybe like 5-6 years ago. And I have friends who play, and they can keep me up in the details and what the meta's like and stuff like that. It's fun to watch and talk about it, but not so fun for rules interactions. Yeah, there's probably the most popular kind of miniature game out there, anywhere really, because they're not really like a tournament game. They're more of a hobbyist kind of game, and so anybody can really play it and just enjoy it. But the tournaments are kind of a different kind of beast altogether, especially if you have like comp scores and stuff like that, and also the newest books coming out. But they are actually doing they're trying to be nice and doing the weekly or monthly erratas to try and balance things. Not the same way that GW or Private Press balances their game. This Private Press is very good for balancing their stuff. And I'm glad GW is actually doing that. I'm quite impressed, because they haven't done that in years. Like, erratas are few and far between. And now they're actually doing it quite regularly, so it's kind of cool. I played X-Wing. It's not my kind of game, but it's kind of cool. It's got very unique mechanics. So it's kind of... Yes, that's another thing. Pre-built and pre-painted miniatures are not the hobbyist's friends. That's what I don't like about these guys. This is a great miniature. It just pre-built means it's got... can have some pretty terrible defects in it if it's not built properly. But then again, it's a board game, so it's not really meant for high quality painting. But then again, it's also very well sculpted, so it's kind of a shame not to give this guy a nice paint job. So as I go down to this guy, as I go farther down, I'm going to do more blue tones. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but like all you're really gonna see for that, I think you're gonna see is like a pre-painted miniature, printed miniature of that color. It's gonna be very like basic looking. It would be like very little or no shading, I think. At least for a long time, you're still gonna like you're never gonna get like the beautiful kind of pieces you get for like competitions. You're never gonna see that, at least in the next decade, I think. It'd be a real shame if that was if that totally replaced mini painting. But you never know, right? Printers have come so far in a long time. Oh, yeah, Finecast has got a troubled history. I really dislike GW's resin. Their Forge World's okay, but it's kind of a different company total. Like, Private Press has some amazing resin. I love their resin. The unique thing about their pieces is they have a resin and metal combination, so that the whole, like the biggest pieces, they're not very delicate, are all big resin pieces. And then you have, like the spindly bits, they're all thin and delicate, they're all metal pieces, so much more malleable. So you don't snap or break, they'll just bend a bit if you're being terrible with your miniatures. Let me just get this done. I have one of my pigs here, which is a resin and metal piece. So this is one of my entries for Lock and Load. So this is a Valkyrie, and so her whole body is just one nice, beautiful piece of resin, and then this part right here, just up to the hand, is metal, and so it's perfect because it's not too heavy, and it's not like gonna fall over and stuff like that. It's not gonna break or chip very easily because resin doesn't really chip or break that easily when it falls over. Metal does. Metal will bend, but it's just a beautiful combination. Anyway, though I still think the best is like GW's plastic bits. Like, let's see, like this right here. Like this is. Unfortunately, this is just too delicate for me. I don't like that kind of stuff, but it does look beautiful. It's great for like entering in like painting competitions, but I don't like it for like playing. You never know in 10 years. 10 years is a long time for like technology. You don't know what's going to happen, but I just really don't. I just hope it doesn't make painting like this obsolete for like competitions. I could definitely see it for like mass-produced armies, like for people who just want like the basic like 3 colors done. I could definitely see that kind of like obsoleting that. But for like doing masterpieces and stuff like that, it'd be a while, I hope. Yeah, I mean, it's all people's artistic tastes, right? And I still think that's kind of weird. People still paint on canvases, even though like Photoshop is amazing or any kind of like variant of Photoshop. But everybody has their own like preferences, and some things you can't really do on Photoshop, I guess, or it takes a long time. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's a hobby thing, painting and stuff like that. But if like painting competitions and stuff like that, it's gonna be kind of interesting after they get 3D printing to have a high quality, I don't know, applications. So I'm kind of curious how it's going to turn out, but eventually it will make it obsolete. Then again, miniature games might die out next couple decades due to like video games and stuff like that, or be non-existent, or maybe just evolve. You never know. His little brother is weird looking. Little face. I should use this color for the lower parts just to block it in. I'll wait till this is all finished. All the shading here. From what I can tell, yeah, they're kind of like the same kind of material as this, but like a lower quality. But I haven't seen their more recent stuff. This is a couple years ago, when they were more like a. It felt like they were more of like a GW knockoff, but now they feel like they've got their own little identity. So I'm not the one to really say. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like with all the computer games, and it's all like random idiots yelling at you on a mic. It's much more different experience playing face to face with people you actually enjoy hanging out with. That's one of the draws of what I like to do. It draws me to board games and miniature games. Also, like the hobby and like creativity aspect. It's hard to be creative. It's hard to be creative. Bleh. It's hard to be creative in like a computer game, like art-wise. From what I've seen for board games evolving, a lot of it's kind of like co-evolving with like phones and apps and stuff like that to keep track of stuff. So you're probably getting more complex games, which are basically going to be like run by your phone and stuff like that. I used to play a lot of Arkham Horror, but a lot of people didn't like it because it was kind of slow because it took a lot of things to worry about, and now there's apps for that and stuff like that to make it run faster and smoother. So it's one of the things I've been seeing currently. Also Mansions of Madness and stuff like that. They're both by Fantasy Flights, I think. And same kind of problem. Both Cthulhu games, which I'm a big fan of Lovecraft in general. Well, not in general. I love his mythos and stuff like that, not other aspects of him. Just to be specific. I'm trying to make it darker as it goes along. And then also to have this hole right here is going to be base coated this color. I'll do it a little later. I'm not going to try and put too much paint down on my palette because it's very hot out right now, so I'll just start drying up way too fast. So I have to constantly apply more and more. Unfortunately, because yes, tomorrow is supposed to be a very nice day for painting. Like 23 degrees, which is perfect. Today it's like 29, 30 right now, so it kind of sucks. And with the fan going, it kind of makes the paint dry even faster. So, let's see. So this part should be about the same kind of darkness as the guy's belly, almost. The belly right here is going to be a little lighter because of how it's kind of turned up, but for the most part it's going to be very dark around here. Yeah, I currently have a humidifier going full blast right now in front of my fan, so it doesn't dry out too fast, but I'm not too close to the water. I'm like a half an hour, 45-minute drive from the ocean, and like a under 5-minute drive from the river, which doesn't really do much. So as I go darker, I'm going to add more sanguine base to it, and then around here I'll be adding more blue, so exile blue, which is a very desaturated blue, and add it to the sanguine base, which will be like kind of a purple feel. So hopefully it'll be very dramatic and striking. But unfortunately, just a lot of drudge work right now. It's all just trying to go as fast as possible without ruining it. Okay. If you're having a problem with painting drying too fast, like you get the bathtub effect, is when a paint immediately dries at the edge before you can start playing with it and pushing the pigments around. So you get this hard edge. What I try and do is I'll apply moisture before I apply the paint. So I'll take my brush, lick it, and then like brush down like this, a clean brush, and just go like that, and then apply the paint. And then you'll have at least double the amount. It does affect how the pigment kind of plays, but it's much better than having harsh edges on the mono. Yeah. It's the worst, especially if you're trying to do a very smooth blending like right here. So it just ruins any kind of smooth effect you're going for. haven't done this guy's face yet. I should do that before I forget. I'm just gonna kind of treat it like a wash. I'll pick it out later, all the details and stuff. Right now I just want to get the gist of it going. Use my own saliva as a bit of like a medium to get it to flow properly. Ah, yes! Non-metallics. Oh. Yeah, that's my bane sometimes. When things dry too fast, too slow. I'm trying to do like combinations of metallics, non-metallics, true metallics basically. It's kind of interesting, but problem is like metallics don't photograph so well, and true metallics, well, sorry, non-metallics photograph really well, but they don't like look great in person, so they're not really great for competitions unless you know the judges really love non-metallics. But then when you take a picture of it, like, oh, it's showing up as a model at one, this category, it kind of sucks because it's metallics, and so it's like, kind of looks weird and off. And then people are like, oh, the guy with the non-metallic should have won if it looks so much better, but in person, it's the exact opposite. It happens to me all the time. Okay. God, this guy's massive. So where are you based out of? Crimson Canary? Kurenai. Crimson Kurenai? That's the proper pronunciation of it. Let's see. Oh! I'm sure that's got his own host of... Yeah, just a little bit. I kind of like the cold though. It's really. I guess the problem is for you is like light, unless you have a really good light setup. But I much prefer painting in like fall and spring and winter. Winter kind of sucks because it's dark, but you don't have the heat problem. It's probably better painting on the coast too. Yeah, so all my lights I have for painting are I bet your 24 hours of sunlight. But all my light bulbs are daylight, and so they should basically be on par with the blue to yellow ratio on like the sun. So it's good for like doing painting competitions and stuff like that. Plus these little guys are like easy to fold up and travel. Took them to lock and load with me, so it's nice. They're actually pretty cheap. Like on Amazon for like 35 bucks for some foldable little lamps, little clamps too, which is perfect. Going any kind of table edge. Yeah, I was up north in not Alaska, Northwest Territories. Oh no, sorry, Yukon with my sister, visiting her there, and yes, it was ridiculous having that much sunlight in the day during the summertime. Okay. So you can kind of see the vibe of this guy now. He's kind of going from light to dark. I'm going to black out this part right here. Yeah, no, I have... Oh my god, I got how many lights here? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Just because you never want to have, like, harsh light. You always want to have diffused and, like... So if for you, you would have one each side, like left and right, one light coming behind you, and light coming in front of you. And none of them are like straight on the model, like all diffused. So like lamps and stuff like that is what I'd recommend. Yeah, you never really want to have harsh. It also strains the eye too much. I still also don't like painting at night because it strains my eyes too much. But if you have the proper setup, it should be just fine. My old place, I was in a basement and I had a good setup for lights and never had a problem painting night or day. But right now I'm also painting beside a window, which is nice for natural light, but it kind of sucks for painting at night. I'm gonna just darken this a little. So I want this center part to be lighter, and then as it goes down and away from it, darker. Okay. I'm also going to darken this guy's armpits too, because that beefy ass arm is going to be shadowing a lot of that area. Same here. Okay. Well, from what I know, a lot of that kind of stuff is very applicable to painting. Like, I stole my girlfriend's this bad boy. It's beautiful for a lot of things. For painting and sculpting and stuff like that. I like to do like dust models with this. Or if I'm like painting or sculpting, like this guy right here, if the female gets too dry and starts chipping, and like I'll like start removing stuff, and it gets all like crumbly, I'll just take this and just brush it off. Or if I get it too wet, if I apply a lot of water, like the female, I guess, and soften it a bit, or I stipple it, and add texture and stuff like that. So these kind of makeup brushes are amazing. I heard, what's his face? Oh, the really good texture guy. Oh, what's his name? Bohan. He uses this for like metals and stuff like that. I haven't tried it yet because I only have one of these. I don't want to ruin this one. I'll ruin some other cheap one. But yeah, like I heard he just uses it for like very soft and very natural feeling, which is kind of weird because he does very unnatural style stuff. It's very, very stylized work. Okay. So let's see now. Just trying to adjust the tones basically right now and just get the lighting proper before I go to some other colors. Maybe darken up under his neck area. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and just kind of reclaim some areas where I might have got a little too finicky with, and overpainted too much. More for like the weird strands and stretch marks on them. Just try and darken these areas a bit. Just do a light thin coat. Okay. Let's go back and reclaim some areas with my previous colors, which I kind of remember. It was Rin Flesh and... Oh! Thanks. Have a good day. I hope you have a nice Friday afternoon. So my flesh, I think, was Rin and Moldy Ochre. Maybe add some more white to it, depending on how it looks with the other colors. Actually, use a smaller brush for this. This is what, a 4? Yeah. I'll go back to a 2, which is my normal. No, it's too fine of it's my detail too. Let's go to. Where's my other brush? Somewhere. I have way too many brushes. Let's try you. Let's just try and reclaim some of these kind of stretch marks. It's more visible when I go and do a darker color in some areas. Great, this guy's your pec thing here is a little too dark. Grab these reclaimed a bit. Trying to define this whole area a bit better. It's a little too like messy right here because it's the weird combination of his. I don't know if it's his brother or to get merged with some random person, but it's a little messy, anatomy-wise, so I'm just trying to clean up and make it a little more better focal points. I think I can change the contrast in this bad boy. No, it's still too exposed. There we go. I'm gonna go back here and line up some areas, also add some more texture to it. Okay. I need to do his light tones before I start doing more shading. So I just need to bring some of these areas back. Especially since it has the centerpiece qualities, so it's one of my highest qualities. So it's a lot of back and forth. Alright, let's maybe start working on some darker tones in lower areas. So that's going to be my singing bass, and then some Exile Blue, just a little bit, and then maybe some more Cardiff Flesh. Just kind of cut the saturation a bit too. It was really warm, and the purple kind of like the blue kind of cuts it to more of a almost a grayish tone. There we go. I think that's good. Now let's compare it to the darker areas. Let's see, maybe a bit more blue. Just to darken it a bit. Let's try that. Try a different area. That looks pretty good, actually. If you guys have any questions, just let me know on color theory or model or whatever. Painting competitions, painting tools, painting hobbies, board games, miniatures, whatever. Nice to have somebody to talk to. Get my mind off the heat. And this guy's ugly beard gut. I'm kind of just working my way up and slowly tapering off this bluish purple kind of color. So it'll kind of look too gray over top of that yellowy kind of flesh, so I want it just more over top of the more saturated color. I do want it to overlap a bit, but not too much. next step, I'm going to be doing some highlighting again on the lower areas, and then doing some washes. Keep the saturation up. And kind of add some more contrast areas to it. I'm not trying to add too much of this dark blue in the higher areas, but only where it's very much shadowed, like guy's armpit. Very little light going into that area. Okay. So I don't want this color too far up. Just like that's probably good for now. So let's maybe go for almost a darker tone somewhere. No, I'll use a wash for that. I'll use like a reddish purple wash for that area. So I have this at hand. Like this part, so it kind of should go like a circle. So this should be like this dark. So see, dark. So this part will be here, will be about this dark. So let's just apply a little bit of blue to it. Not too much. So it should go like that. Okay, let's go back and just refine some of this blending, because my first pass was very fast and just a general kind of darkening. I'm going to pick out some of that anatomy. Alright. Just a little bit around this guy's random growth on his belly. Maybe it's part of his brother or something like that melded into him. You can never really tell if it's kind of grotesque or... Okay. So, maybe it's time to do some washes. And just see how that holds up. Oh, I messed up here. I didn't forget to do this part. I thought it was his hair, but it's actually flesh. these guys are really random and just... Like the other guy mentioned, like the Thing movie, the random body horror creature. I'm gonna go and just pick up some areas with really white. Actually, no, let's wait. Okay, before I do any more wash or do any washes, let's do the face proper. And do some washes over top of it. This guy has 2 cheekbones. Interesting. I'm gonna use that blue just to darken this guy's under neck area. It'll be very little light getting in that area, so it should be a lot of darker regions. There we go. Back to this guy's face. I think let's just do some washes. Try to do one all once over on his land. See what I want to do for the other parts. Alright, let's do some flesh washes. Give me power for that. So for the upper body, not too red, so I'm going to use a Caspian flesh for that. Caspian Flesh Wash by P3. Let me find my opened one. That was Kasai. I need that. I have one. I swear to God. It's just hiding on me. There we go. It's almost empty. I'll probably be finishing it today. Let's try that. I'm not sure if I want mixed and medium yet. I'm just gonna put them out there just in case I need it. And thanks to the heat, it's all pretty much dry right now. So let's try this. To kind of help bring out the texture. not bad. It helps add tones to this thing as well. There we go. I want it to cool a bit, but not too much. Just add a bit of the texture that it's already in the miniature, but not having this giant dark area. Let's try his face now. So the plan here, I think, is to go back and, after done the inks, go back and reclaim some areas and just do the wash over them to resaturate them. This is a pretty good effect right now. But I want to kind of push it a bit more. Make it pop. So adding some almost pure white, I think, would be cool. And use the ink to kind of saturate it back. You don't want to do that for some more raised areas. The guy's brow and stuff like that. Might have been too much ink around the guy's brother here. Not as good as I hoped, but the rest of it's doing pretty good. So I'll bring out some of those textures and such. I got a little lost during the two-brush blending. Okay. So let's brighten up some of those areas now. Let's do some just pure ring flesh with a little bit of more white. Just kind of use it to lighten some of those areas. It should be pretty bright, like the top of this area. And any places where I kind of overdo it, I can come back with ink and just bring it down and darken and resaturate it. Also just do a thin coat and just lighten it like that. Just bring up the whole area, and then use ink to kind of blend it back into, because it kind of makes it a little pastel looking, so ink will kind of get rid of that pastel feel. So this part should be pretty bright, I'm thinking. Have a little bit of water break. That was a short water break. I'm kind of adding in the texture too. Now I'll kind of blend it back together. Just go take a thin coat and just go over top of it, leaving the textury parts on the edges and kind of blending in decent, adding less contrast to the top, so brightening it overall. Let's see. It's really weird anatomy around here, so I'm just trying to figure it out and get the look so it's not so, I don't know, confusing, so it's a bit more of a, and I don't know, a flow to it instead of being just like a mass. lips I'm going to do a different color, so I'm not going to worry about them. Make them all pink or something like that. Dark red, maybe. Trying to add some of that texture back in. Use the wash to blend it back. A little too much there. Don't put too much contrast or lighter over here. This was pretty darker. Okay, let's try that. Add some wash to that. But just a very thin, just to get it to blend in. But thanks to the heat, it's maybe wash maybe not usable. Let's see. That's fine, okay. Let's try very thin. Just sort of staining it a bit. It's not bad. I put way too much ink in this area. Okay, let's go for a darker ink. Let's do the Cossite Flesh. There we go. On the so I'll be doing Cossite Flesh around like this kind of arc. Oh, thank you, Trax, for the follow. So. Okay, so I'm gonna. So around like this lower belly area, and here's me the darker calcite flesh. It's also darker and redder. So I'm just trying to deepen some area without making it too dark. This also helps bring out all the details too. I do this right now so I can not worry about it. And just like the other layer, I'm going to go back and just re-highlight some areas and resaturate with the ink. Just do a little bit of calcite flesh. Just add more tones to some more raised areas, especially in the more recessed areas like his neck. Help deepen it. There we go. Just around his eyes too, because it should be. His brow is very pronounced, so I'm just going to darken it with this wash. Maybe a little Darken his lower cheek too. I was thinking, do I want to use actual inks for the lower parts instead of his wash like I'm doing right now, or do I want to add some inks to some washes? So I don't have any purple washes, I just have purple inks. So I think I might just do a wash with some mixing medium, just for a little bit, and see what it looks like. Let's try that. So let's. I don't want to do a. Problem is with the purple, they're very saturated, so I'm going to just do a red and a blue ink. I find it's got a lot of saturation to it. So it's just red ink and blue ink by P3. Use that mixing medium, which I haven't touched. The blue is stronger than the red, yeah. So make the purple, but it's not like a deep purple, it's more like a an off red or blue. It might be a little too saturated, actually. I'm gonna have to add some black to it. Let's see. Let's try it to his butt. I think, let's see. How about this? Let us add some muddy wash to it, because that's brown to it, so it kind of keeps that natural kind of tones, the flesh tones with it, so it's not just pure purple. There we go, that's what was missing. kind of blended a little higher now, so it's, and especially the gut's kind of downturn there, so it should be pretty dark. That bloody ground. There we go. Tried a little too much on the palms on his hands, because it's kind of like up, so it should be lighter than the back of his hand, so I'll probably darken that a lot more than the top of his hand. There we go. Okay, let's use some of this to darken up his neck. There we go, that's looking pretty good. And just slowly bring it up just a little bit. Just gonna go around and slowly darken some areas which I think should be a little darker, and purple would be a good color to darken it with. Looking mighty creepy still. Slowly coming together. Still quite a few hours left in this guy. But I like how his skin's turned out so far. It's got the right kind of blending. I think it needs to be more blended here, I think. It could be a little darker here, because it's kind of the same kind of tone. A little darker on the edges, too. Just having some fun experimenting. Maybe it's a little bit of purple around here, but this guy's got a mighty ass neck. Should be pretty dark shadow in there. Same with that guy's armpit. Alright. I think I'm gonna call it done for today. Pretty good progress though. Skin's not done, but it's very close. Then again, I could probably spend like maybe 100 more hours on the skin if I really wanted to. There's a lot there. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good Friday afternoon.